Till now, we have seen free vibration response, how to convert or write most degrees of freedom, how to write the equations of motion, how to convert the equations of motion into modal coordinates, then solve the equations of motion using decoupled system and use the initial conditions, again back convert them to the original coordinate system. Now we'll see the things related to force vibration. So in the force vibration, we'll ignore the transient part, which is very small part, and we'll majorly look at the steady state part, which is coming because of the forcing function. So let's say we have that x is equal to f naught upon k minus m omega square sine omega t. So from where is it coming? This is from the response we have derived earlier. So this was the response for steady state for a forcing function f0, which was a constant forcing function, and this was the amplitude. So we have just taken it here. We are ignoring the damper, since the damping matrix is not going to be diagonal matrix directly. It's going to be tough for us to convert it to a diagonal matrix. So we'll introduce the damping later. So now they are being converted to modal coordinates where the force has changed to qi, k has changed to k. So the only the force things change because the force will be converted to the x in x transpose f0. This was the change in force. So the new force is q, and the other things remain same. So ki, and when we are going to divide it, we'll have this omega I square minus omega square. So assumed all forcing functions have some same forcing frequency. This is the condition as of now. We cannot have different forcing frequencies, and if they are different, we need to tackle them differently. And then at the last, we can add the responses. So using the principle of superposition. So let's look at the numerical question for with the forcing function which is given to have better understanding. So the first step will be to figure out the degrees of motion. The second step will be assign the coordinate systems. Both of them are done over here. The coordinate system is already assigned in the question, so we can skip all those steps. So the first step will be make FBD and write the equation of motion. Second step will be find eigenvectors and eigenvalues. Third step is from the eigenvectors we combine and get find modal matrix. These are the combination of eigenvectors. Then we need to express equation of motion, which we have got in step 1, and boundary conditions, which will be given in the question in modal coordinates. So we have to convert from old coordinate to new coordinate. That is the modal coordinate system. Then we need to solve those equations, because since these new equations of motion are decoupled, we can directly get the response from that. And then we need to transform back this equation of motion, that are the response of x, that is q right now, which we have got, into the old coordinate system, which was x. So again, we'll need to use the modal coordinate system in a different way. So let's start with it. Let's take some numerical values for better understanding. So we have been given m1, m2, which is 10 and 1. These are all the same values which we have seen earlier. K1 is 30, K2 is 5, K3 is 0, and the eigenvectors are also given. The first eigenvector and these are the displacements given at time t is equal to 0, and the velocity at time t is equal to 0 is 0 for both the mass. And how can I find the eigenvectors? I can directly go to MATLAB, write this function. I can write bracket any vector a, b, or it's better we use v and d, and is equal to, this is the standard function eig that will return the eigenvectors and eigenvalues. Stiffness matrix k, comma mass matrix m, bracket over. And when you run this command, you will get two results. One will be the d matrix, which will be a diagonal matrix, and the values of those diagonal entries will be eigenvalues, and the correspond and another will be v matrix, which will be mass normalized eigenvectors. You must remember, they will not be directly eigenvectors, they will be mass normalized eigenvectors. And how can you figure out which vector is which, related to which eigenvalue? So the first entry of the eigenvalue will be related to the first vector, first column of eigen matrix V. So V will be a very large matrix depending on the size of the D or the number of eigenvalues, and the first eigenvalue will corresponding to the first column. The second eigenvalue will correspond to the second column. So that is how we can figure out which eigenvector is related to which eigenvalue. So we from there we can get the eigen vectors. So I have just combined the eigenvectors in X dash, which are the mass normalized, and from here I want to convert the old coordinate system X or the displacement into new coordinate system, that is the modal coordinate system displacement. And this is the two thing which I have been using. So X dash transpose into M is equal to X dash inverse. So this is the change of basis matrix. And since these are the vectors, I can convert the vectors using single form. So this is actually the new is equal to the change of basis matrix into old, but the change of basis matrix is replaced by this form, because I don't want to find the inverse. That's why I'm using the transpose and the mass matrix. So I can do that. I can also convert the vectors, the old velocity into new velocity using the same change of basis matrix. So I'll just keep this part. And since this is very important, since this the initial velocity is 0, whatever multiplications I'm going to do, I'm also going to get 0. So you just use your brain and do not go on multiplying these all things. You already know one of the factor is always 0. This is absolutely 0 vector. So whatever we are going to multiply to it, we are going to get a 0 vector itself. So use some brain. So in we also know in earlier class we have found that omega values. So how we'll find the omega values are? We'll write the equation of motion. We'll write the k minus m omega square into the displacement is equal to 0, and then use k minus m omega square, take the determinant of that matrix. We'll get a equate the determinant to 0. We'll get a quadratic equation in omega square. Solve that equation and get omega square values, 2 omega square values, which are the two natural frequencies for 2 degree of freedom system. So still you see that we are referring to 2 degrees of freedom system again and again, because 3 degrees of freedom system and all larger systems will be very tough for matrix manipulations and solving the equations of in cubic powers. So we are taking examples of 2 degree of freedom system still. Higher degrees should be solved using some softwares preferably. So we have got the response. How can we get the response? Whatever equations we have, those equations are simple spring damper systems. So this is how the systems will be: displacement into cos omega t plus velocity by omega I omega 1 sin omega t. So this is very simple. This is a general response which we already know, and the q earlier was replaced by x. So we had x 0 cos omega t plus x dot 0 by omega sin omega t. So over here we have in terms of q, and we already found the velocity and displacement in modal coordinates. We just substitute the omega 1 and omega 2 values and get the answer. So we have got the response value, response in terms of new coordinate system. Now we need to convert it to old coordinate system. So this is how I am converting. Since this is also a vector, I can convert it to the new old coordinate system using the vector. But this is the original change of basis matrix which I need to use when I'm changing from new to old. When I'm changing from old to new, this is old to new. This is the change of basis. So this is the thing you need to remember. I just multiplied this and got the response which is shown over here. And in the next video, we'll start with the damping systems. So viscous dampers will be introduced, and how can we tackle them will also be showed. Okay, thank you. Bye.